We're going to be talking about three things that are keeping women small, stuck, and invisible: FOMO, imposter syndrome, and comparisonitis. Have you ever struggled with these? I think I've struggled with all of them at multiple times in my life. And I had several women reach out to me and tell me that imposter syndrome was coming up for them, that in just we're asking about how do I work through it. So I want to talk about these three things because I realized it's not just imposter syndrome. Oftentimes there are some other things that might be wrapped up in there as well, but they're keeping us stuck. They're keeping us small. They're holding us back from living our true joy. So, as you come on, I want you to say hello, leave me a question in the comments, and let me know what you want to know because I have lots to share. And feel free to share this with a friend. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And sit back because, my friends, we are going to be slaying these dragons because they no longer are going to have power over you. So let's talk about, first of all, FOMO. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. Have you ever felt that? Especially when you scroll through Instagram or even on Substack sometimes. You see what other people are up to. You see, oh my gosh, they had a party, they had an event. I've been seeing this so much lately. Like, so many people that I know on Instagram are having dinner with friends or having a big event or having a private event or having something, or they're speaking or they're whatever. And it can almost feel like, ooh, I should be doing that too. I should be doing that too. I should be, oh, why wasn't I included? It almost, we're programmed to want to be part of something, right? We're programmed to want to be part of community. We are wired almost to have FOMO. And when we start looking around at what everybody else is doing and feeling like, oh, I'm missing out, especially during the summer when you start seeing all these vacation plans roll in and all these beautiful pictures. I know sometimes with travel, I'm like, oh gosh, I've got such bad FOMO. But I have some great trips coming up. I just need to bide my time. But we can get so wrapped up and caught up in FOMO that we can easily start to think, well, I should be doing that too. I had someone tell me that she had applied to do something, to speak at an event. And then she said, you know what? I realized I didn't really even want to. I just felt like I should. I felt like I should apply. I felt like I should throw my hat in the ring. But she got caught up in that FOMO. And it can be really easy especially if you're with a group of women. Everybody's going to Portugal. Everybody's speaking at a conference. Everybody's going to, starting to do a certain thing. And you might think, well, I need to do that too. So fear of missing out can really kind of skew our vision, and it can pull us off course. We can all of a sudden, we're like, ooh, I've got my thing. And then we're like, no, I need to be doing this. I'm missing out. Oh my gosh, I have to host an event. I have to go to lunch. I have to do this. Let's get out of the crazies, right? Because this is pulling us away from what we truly desire. And instead of focusing on what we want, we start asking, what should I be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What's everybody else doing? And it can create this like panic, this like overwhelm that's like, oh my gosh, we're not doing enough. And then all of a sudden our radar goes up and we're looking around at everybody else and what's she doing? What's she doing? Oh, she's doing this. And all of a sudden we're like, what is even happening? It pulls us away from our center. It pulls us away from what we truly want. We abandon our own path in pursuit of somebody else's. I've seen that happen more times than I can count, and that's happened to me. I remember years ago, I was in a coaching group and all these people they were doing certain things. And all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I need to let go of this and I need to do this. And then I started going down that path. And finally I pulled myself out of it. I was like, no. I need to put blinders on and stay true to myself. But this is what keeps us stuck. And when we're stuck and we're abandoning our own path and we're stuck with somebody else's path, we shrink. We're like, we're not out there in a big way. We're holding ourselves small. Visibility requires leadership. And this is what I want to really share with you, because the whole spin of everything I teach is about not being invisible. I'm the visibility stylist. And I've realized some people might say, well, what does visibility have to do with any of it? We're meant to be visible. And as midlife women, visibility is such a big challenge. It can be. Up to 70% of women feel invisible at midlife. That is a staggering statistic. But the sad thing is, a lot of women feel that they should be invisible. They feel like they're meant to be invisible. And if you already feel that you should be, and then you have all this other stuff piled on top of it, it can be really hard to get out from under it. So I want to really shed some light on what might be happening beneath the surface. Now, we're going to be talking about style because FOMO can also come in with what people are wearing. Think about it. Think about the trends. Oh, that, certain trends come out, and all of a sudden everybody's jumping on a bandwagon. Remember when skinny jeans came out? Women came and told me, they're like, I should be wearing skinny jeans. I'm like, no, you shouldn't. Because as a style coach, I look at your body and I tell you what's right for your body. I'm not gonna tell you what you should wear. That's not my jam. But I give you guidelines and you get to decide. Do you want to wear skinny jeans? Do you want to wear something else? It's totally up to you. But when you understand what's right for you, then you can make your own choices, your own choices that are intentional. When we're intentional, it keeps us out of FOMO. But when we're looking around at everybody else, what's everybody else wearing? I'm going to tell you a story about one of the clients that I coached years ago. She was in a group program that I did. And we had a group coaching program or group coaching call. And she shared with me that she wished she could dress for who she was. She said, I wish I could dress for who she was. And I asked, and so I coached her. We talked about us, I asked her, so why do you think you can't? She said, well, nobody else really dresses the way I want to. Everybody else is pretty conservative. They all dress for the country club. They all wear their golf attire. She didn't want to wear that. She was a little bit dramatic. Had a little edge to her style. I knew what her self-under ID was, but she was afraid. She had some blocks against it. But what happened was that it turns out she was so worried about what her friends would say about her. But what it turns out to be is that her friends almost had FOMO. Her friends were looking at her saying, I wish I could dress like you. I wish I could express myself. Her friends were jealous. But she was looking around and feeling like, well, if I don't dress like them, like I'm missing out. She wasn't missing out on anything. They were all missing out because they weren't being true to themselves. And so let's step back from asking, what should I be doing? If you ever start to ask yourself, what should I be doing? What should I say? What should I wear? What time should I start my live? Whatever. What should I have for breakfast? What should I be eating? We can look around. Everybody's talking about protein, right? Right. When we get caught up in what's everybody else doing, maybe that's not right for you. Maybe that's not the right thing, and we feel like we need to jump on the bandwagon. I felt like that for a while with HRT because all of a sudden, all these women started talking about HRT. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I be doing that? I felt like I had FOMO, and I started feeling like I should be on HRT. And there's nothing. I'm not here to judge it or say there's anything wrong with it or good. Like, I'm not here to say one way or the other if you should or shouldn't do it. But I started feeling like I should. And I was like, haven't really looked into that. But when we start to look at what everybody else around us is doing, FOMO can keep us away from what's right for us. Finally, I realized I got mad. I was like, this isn't not the right thing for me right now. I don't feel like it's right. I just feel like I should. I feel like I'm missing out on something. And when I could step back and say, that is not a reason to do anything. Fear of missing out is not a reason, certainly to start taking hormones, but I feel like I should, eating protein, like, go down the rabbit hole. But when we're talking about FOMO keeps us in reaction mode. Would you rather be reactive, reactive or intentional? Reactive means we're acting to external circumstances. But when we're intentional, it means we're focused on what we want, on what our desires are, and we're staying true to ourselves. Comparisonitis, number 2. This is when you measure yourself against everybody else. Girl, let me tell you, I struggled with comparisonitis for a very long time when I was younger. I struggled with my weight when I was younger, and then my dad paid me to lose weight when I was about 8, 10 years old. And that put me on a path of feeling like there was something missing from me. Missing. And I talk a lot about the invisibility trap. I'm not really going to go into that here, but it put me looking for external validation. But oftentimes it that it was very twisted, and it took me a while to get over it. But essentially what I would do was I would find myself comparing myself to my friends, to my cousins, to my sister, to any other woman. Am I thinner than she is, or is she thinner than who's thinner? Because I was a little I had some trauma. Yeah, let's just say I had some trauma around that. But who is thinner? Does she look thinner? Is she eating healthier? Does she have better legs than I do? Are her thighs smaller? This is what's crazy. Like, this is where it's like apples and oranges. I made myself miserable for years because of comparisonitis, and I could not see my own beauty. I could not see that I could be perfect just the way I am. We're all perfect. We're all perfect, no matter what our shape or size. But I see this happening, and it certainly happened to me as an adult, like as I've started my business. Comparison, well, what's she doing? What's her business like? Is she a better speaker than me? Like, it can be easy to fall into that trap. And I know when I first started my business many years ago, we look around at everybody else and we want to compare. We're like, okay, who do I compare myself to? And I know when I had a clothing boutique, we I had a clothing boutique for 10 years. And when you work with a sales rep and you go find a line, actually, I used to be a designer, and people would ask me, what other lines do you hang with? What do you hang with? And it's not that you're comparing, but it's like, okay, if I carry these lines, then I'll probably carry these lines. These lines are a good fit. It's like, who's your tribe? What are the other lines that are similar? But the same thing is true with us when we compare ourselves. And when I had a boutique in 2015, actually in 2020, and we found ourselves pivoting. We used to have a brick and mortar, and all of a sudden in 2020, no more, no more. And what we did was we turned the camera on and we went live. We started going live every day. I started going live every day, me and our manager. And we would show clothing and we would, style it. I keep losing my earring. It's the second time that's happened today. Okay. We're going to go the asymmetrical route today. We just got to roll with it. But when we pivoted and started going live on camera, it was just finding our voice. What are we doing? What's the premise of what we're doing? What are we, how are we approaching it? What are we saying? So, of course, what we did, we started looking around. Who else is doing this? What other stores are doing this? Well, there were a handful of other stores that were doing it. Not only were doing it, but had been doing it for a while. And we found a couple that we really liked. We're like, oh, we like their format. We watched their shows. And I remember at one point, someone told me in our organization that I needed to be more like another person from another boutique. She was very high energy. She would go live like all the time, like morning, noon, night, at her home. Someone told me in our organization, oh, you just need to be more like, her name was Shannon. You just need to be more like Shannon. And I sat with that for a little while. I was like, do I? Do I need to change? And so there was that, because we were comparing ourselves to other boutiques, somebody decided to compare me to their lead person. And I really sat with that for a while. And I thought, maybe, maybe he has a point. Maybe that's true. And then I realized we're all created to be exactly, I'm like that. It flew in the face of everything that I teach and everything that I have taught for years, which is about standing in the truth of who we are, which is about being our beautiful, unique selves. And when we compare ourselves or we are compared to someone, it shrinks us. It's like, when people talk about pricing, you become a commodity, right? Like if you say you have goods and your UVP, your unique value proposition is price. You're the lowest price leader. Walmart does that, right? But guess what? When you start competing on price alone, when that is the only thing that sets you apart, you get compared to Target, you get compared to Walgreens. It's like you're Amazon, like it's a level playing field. There's nothing that stands out. And if all you have to compete on is price, like forget it. So what I realized is what I bring to the table, like I can't be like Shannon. First of all, like I'm just not, don't have that in my DNA. My voice isn't that loud. I'm more soft spoken. Not that I don't have energy, but I'm not like high energy. Like high energy is not a word people would use to describe me. I'm more like a deep thinker. I'm more, reserved. My style finder ID, I'm dramatic, I'm romantic, I'm classic. I'm not like, ah, not that I can't be loud, not that I don't like to talk, and not that I don't like to bring energy. But I wasn't wired to show up in the same way she was. And when I got 1,000% clear, I had to sit with that overnight. And then I woke up and had this clarity, this divinely given clarity of you need to be more of who you are. This is what's true for all of us. When we can step into the truth of who we are and what we bring to the table, what makes us unique, what makes us different, rather than how do I measure up, this is where we get to stand out in a category of one. We get to step up and become visible for who we are. We become visible for our authenticity. We become visible because we're us, and we become memorable because we're us. And so when we're suffering from comparisonitis, it just means that we're not honoring ourselves. We're not giving ourselves credit for who we are, for the magic that we bring. And then the third one, let's talk about imposter syndrome. This is the one a lot of people have shared with me lately that they struggle with. Now, these women are like highly credentialed. They've got successful businesses. It just goes to show that you never know what's beneath the surface. Some of the smartest, most talented, wealthiest, most successful by all measures, women feel like they're imposters. I know I felt like I was an imposter when I first started. And I think a big part of that, there's so much I could say about this, but I do think part of it comes from when you're really good at something. Oftentimes it is the thing, one of my mentors told me, she said, the thing that you should be doing is the thing that you could do in your sleep all day long. And you wouldn't, no, what did she say? It would be the thing that you would do for free all day long, or the thing that you feel like you could do in your sleep. Like it comes so naturally to you and you're so good at it that oftentimes a lot of women think, well, I shouldn't get paid for this. I felt like that with styling my clients. Like, this is what I just do. Like, it's just in my DNA. It's just who I am. It's my gift. And I think because it is our gift, when it's a gift, we tell ourselves, well, let me just get another certification. Let me just, do something. Let me wait. I'm not ready. I'm not sure. It's like we second guess ourselves. And we feel like there's something, this external shift that needs to happen. And maybe it's fear. A lot of times it is fear. But what it does is it puts us in this feeling that we're not there yet. We're not enough yet. We're not good enough. And so we start waiting. We play the waiting game. Imposter syndrome makes women wait. Wait until they lose 10 pounds. Wait until they get one more certification. Wait until they have a better website, or they have a business card, or they have more experience, or they have more clients, or they have more followers, or they have spoken at more events. What are you waiting for? I would really invite you to think about that. What are you waiting for? Most women, so many women have things, that one thing. Oftentimes it is weight, it is style. Well, I don't want to get on camera yet till I lose 20 pounds. I don't want to, I heard that as a style coach a lot, not the camera part, but I'll work with you when I lose 10 pounds. When I first started my business, this was such a big thing that I would hear. And then it finally women got over it. And I still hear it every once in a while. Well, I'll do a photo shoot when I lose 10 pounds. I'll do this when my hair's gone gray, when I've grown my hair out. And it's like we're this elusive carrot that we're waiting for. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to hit another milestone in your business? Are you waiting until your last child goes to college? Are you waiting for somebody to move out of the house? Are you waiting to close on your house? Are you waiting to, what is it? Are you waiting to do another training? Are you waiting until, stop waiting. Stop waiting, because your life is now. It's now. It's not 10 pounds from now. It is now. This is what I tell women with style. Like, you're getting dressed now. You're going to get dressed tomorrow. Why not wear something that you love? What I found with style is that when women start dressing in a way that they love, the weight often just comes off. I had one client, she had started her business and she had done a lot of work on getting over imposter syndrome. And she fully stepped into she had a massage therapy business and some coaching and other things. And she called me. She was ready to like, she bought my most expensive package. We did the shopping, and she embraced it, like, full on. Like, she was buying the good stuff. She was not buying the, "Ooh, let me wait and see," or let me just buy a few things now. She, like, treated herself. She fully stepped in to who she was becoming. There was no holding her back. And then I saw her about a year later, and to back up, she was not at her ideal weight. She was probably about 50 pounds away from it, but she dressed for the woman that she was, and she looked amazing. Not at her ideal weight, but she was perfect. She was beautiful, but she knew, she acknowledged, she told me, those were her words, not mine, that she was not at her ideal weight. And then I saw her a year later. She had lost the weight. She had lost the weight. She felt so good in the clothes. She said, I need to do it again. I need to go out and go shopping again, because I felt so good in the clothes and good about myself that I didn't want to overeat. I wanted to start taking care of myself. I wanted to dress better. I wanted to look and feel better. And so the weight came off, and she got new clothes. It wasn't about the clothes. It was who she became in the clothes. And that is everything. That is everything. This is why I say style is such a powerful tool. It's who you show up as. I know when I put on a great outfit, I'm like, ooh, all right, like, I'm ready to get on camera. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to be visible. If you're waiting until you have better style, call me. Let's talk. I don't want your style holding you back. But our style is one of the best tools that we have to become visible. But the truth is that when women are struggling with FOMO, with comparisonitis, with imposter syndrome, these aren't just challenges. They're not just external challenges. What they are, they're identity problems. And what happens at midlife? This is where all the factors converge, right? It's like, what? It's crazy. We hit a certain period of time, like somewhere after the age of 40, and all of a sudden our body changes, and maybe our career changes, or maybe our kids are going off to college. We become empty nesters. So what happened to me this year? Even though my son's here for the summer, like, I'm technically an empty nester, and it's kinda weird when he's here. I'm like, I love it, but it's like, "Ooh, okay, good." Just getting used to the back and forth. But it's just an interesting time where our minds change, right? Like, we start to see ourselves differently. We start to look in the mirror and maybe notice some gray and start asking the questions. Who am I now? Who am I now? And what I think happens to a lot of women, there's something that I'm writing about in my upcoming book, and I call it the Great American Timeline. This is where we go through life. We check the boxes. We go to school, get the good grades, we're the good girl, win the awards, graduate from college or graduate from high school, go to college, meet our sweetheart, get married, have the kids, have the job, have the success, buy the house, all the things. And then at midlife, it's like, oh, what's next? We're going off road at midlife. There's no more script. That timeline ended. Now it's up to us. And we get to create what we want. But here's where we're left wondering. It's like, okay, you're on the timeline, you're checking the boxes. All of a sudden, there are no more boxes to check. All of a sudden, we start asking, what are we supposed to do? What's next? Sure, maybe retirement, travel, hopefully have some grandkids, but beyond that, like, there are zero expectations for midlife women. And this is a big part of why women start to become invisible. Nobody's expecting anything from us. We can just kind of fade away. Some people want to fade away. Some people want to not be noticed, and maybe they've been in the spotlight and they're just ready to go and do their thing. But it's the women who want to be seen when we're not meant to be invisible at midlife. And this is why I talk about a radical recalibration, because this is where we throw off the cultural norms. We throw off all the BS that we've heard for our entire lives about women shouldn't be seen, we shouldn't be heard, shouldn't age, have to be thin, have to be pretty, have to be desirable, all the things. Like, here's what we get to ask. Who am I now? And what do I want? What do I want from my life? This is the magic of not having any more boxes to check. And this is where we get to let go of the comparisonitis. No longer are we looking at, oh, what's cool? What school are my kids going to? What house are we buying? Like, now we're off road. Like, there is no more comparison. There is no more comparison. But this is where I talk about the new era. We have entered the new era, and this is not true for any midlife women before us. I mean, sure, things have changed, but this is the new era where authenticity is celebrated, is wanted, is needed in our world. But sadly, this is also where FOMO, comparisonitis, and imposter syndrome often take hold. And I know that I've been through this in many phases of my life. But I want to talk about the real reason that we compare. Comparison is not a confidence problem. Comparison happens when we become disconnected from ourselves. Because when we don't know who we are, we start looking around at everybody else. At everybody else. This is where FOMO comes in, or imposter syndrome, or, oh, I'm not good enough. She's doing it better. This has happened to me so many times over my life. And it can be so easy when we become disconnected from ourselves. And then we see somebody doing something and we're like, she's better than I am. Why should I be doing this? She's prettier than I am, or she's whatever. It can be so easy to compare ourselves. And social media, my friends, has not made it any easier for us. What starts as an inspiration can often be self-abandonment. because it can put us down a path that I mean, it can be so insidious and so easy. I feel like I had this happen. Well, I had this happen not that long ago. I was taking a course, a free course with someone, and they were talking about how something was going to be this next big thing and how everybody needs to do this. And of course, my ears pricked up and I was like, what? What is happening? What do I need to know? And then I'm like, this isn't right for me. It was interesting to find out about it, but I finally decided, I was like, this is not right for me. It did not align with my goals. It pulled me away from my goals. And I realized how insidious it is, how easy it can happen. When when you're on TikTok or you're on Instagram and you see an ad for something and you're like, you get sucked in. You're like, I need to know more. I need that. I need that ear cleaner. I need that floor cleaner. I need that protein powder. I need that thing because I want this magical result. Well, it's not real, right? Like I saw something the other day and there's so much. This is where we have to be really careful because AI can trick us. It doesn't even have to be AI. Our brain can be tricked with certain language and we get sucked in and all of a sudden we've gone down a rabbit hole and we're like, I need to buy this thing, do this thing, go to this thing. And it's not something that was even on our radar, but all of a sudden we're going down the rabbit hole and we lose sight of who we are and what it is that we want. And it happens because we become disconnected from ourselves and we allow other things to influence us. But when we can stay true to who we are, when we can come back to our truth and ask ourselves, what is right for me? I just got off the phone with a client this morning, and we were talking about, she asked me a question about her style. And so we had done the whole package. Like when clients work with me, we go through their Style Finder ID, which is my personal style assessment. We look at her best colors. We look at her signature silhouettes and we put it all together. She had a whole wardrobe building workbook. And I had done shopping for her for the season and just like she had the whole thing. But her question, she said, okay, when I get to the fall, what next? What next? So I went through her blueprint and I said, go back to this and go back to this and go back to your Style Finder ID, which is going to ground you in who you are. It's going to keep you away from, this is what I see a lot of women struggle with, especially when their styles are, maybe their primary style is sporty or natural, which are more soft, understated. They're not real defined. I have worked with so many women who that is their Style Finder ID, one of their Style Finder ID words. And then maybe their fashionista cousin who has a very contemporary or dramatic or bold or flamboyant style, or flamboyant's probably not the right word, very memorable style. Tell them, oh, let me take you shopping. It almost never works because what happens is the fashionista tries to inflict her style on the other person. And they both think, well, if you just dress more like me, then you'd have more style. Not realizing that is not your style. And that when we can tap in, tune up, turn on to your magic that is understated, that is more subtle, that is more subdued. It's not about dressing like somebody else. It's dressing for who you are. And this is why I think style is the antidote, because it gives us permission. And the Style Finder ID system gives us permission. Not that you need it. But I think so many women don't have any idea what their style is. And when you have something that points you back to who you are, it's like a compass. It's like, oh yeah, this is where I was going. This is where I really needed to go. It's where I meant to go. And I just got over here and blah, bought this and tried this and have this closet full of clothes that aren't even me. It shows up in your closet because it's disconnection. And when we become disconnected from ourselves, what are we doing? We're looking around at what everybody else does. Oh, I need to wear that. Oh, she has the solution. Let me just buy that formula. Let me just wear those outfits. Let me just buy this. I've had so many clients come to me over the years and tell me, well, I just, bought this on the internet because, they were supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be great mix and match capsules, or it's supposed to be good travel wear. It's supposed to be whatever. And they bought into the feeling, but they didn't actually like the pieces. They're buying the idea. They love the idea, but the pieces did nothing for them. Color wasn't right. Fit wasn't right. Texture wasn't right. The style wasn't right. I remember years ago, and I don't mean anything, these are right for some women, but I'm not dissing these in any way, but I remember when Chico's first came out with their travel wear. Good pieces, good idea, and I love the mix and match capsule, but the fabric, it was almost all black. Black is a color I tell a lot of women to stay away from because a lot of women like to hide in it. Yet we've been told, buy it because it's easy. Buy it because it goes with everything. Buy it because it's slimming. It's going to hide a multitude of sins, right? That's what we're told. But it's also going to enhance your wrinkles. It can make you look tired. It can make you look older than you are. It can really pull you away from what you want to wear. And I've seen so many women get caught up in, for a while, I remember years ago, all these women were getting caught up in the Chico's travel wear because it's flattering and it's comfortable and you just roll it up. And I love the philosophy behind it. And I know that we sold some pieces, some Clara Sunwoo pieces at Style Finder that were basically the same fabric. But when all you have is black and then you're mixing and you're matching and you're wearing, yes, it's functional and it might feel good, but does it feel good on your body? Like not just physically, but the style, like when you look in the mirror, you're like, ooh, what just happened? A lot of women were coming to me saying, well, I bought these because I thought that they were comfortable and they were stylish and they, mixed and matched. And I love that, but they didn't feel good in them. They're like, I don't know what to do. Like thought I was doing the right thing. I'm like, well, you tuned in to a few things that are important to you, but there's more than one way to express it. What they were missing was the piece that connected them to who they were. And they didn't realize that they didn't have to sacrifice style for comfort. And so this is where your closet becomes a symptom of a deeper question. Can I trust myself? Can I trust myself? Can I trust myself to know what's right for me? Can I trust myself to be seen? Can I trust myself to select clothing that's right for me? Can I trust myself? We are not taught to trust ourselves, my friends. And this is why the new era of style is more important than ever. This era is about embodiment. It is about becoming more of ourselves. It's not about watering ourselves down. It's not about looking at what everybody else is wearing. It's not about having FOMO. It's not about having comparisonitis. It's about saying, you're beautiful and I'm beautiful too. You have a great shape. I have a great shape. She has a great shape. It's saying we're all perfect just as we are. And when we can stand in our own truth and embody that through our style, we show up as a beacon for who we are. We magnetically attract our ideal clients, our ideal friends, our ideal partners, our ideal opportunities, because we're being the fullest expression of ourselves. This is what the era of embodiment is all about. Our style, why does our style matter? Our style tells our story. It tells the story of what we're telling ourselves. It tells the story of who we are. And it connects and communicates to other people. It speaks louder than words. So many women have said to me, oh, my style doesn't really matter. I'm not really a style person. Those have been some of my best clients because they just want a rule book, a playbook, if you will. Not that I give you a rule book. There are no rules. We're breaking the rules. We're breaking all the rules. I will give you guidelines because I think having guidelines can be a little scary, especially at midlife, like when we're off road, there are no expectations. There's no what's next. Let's say you have your own business, you're a speaker, you're an author, you're a coach, you're a consultant, and all of a sudden you are invited to speak. You're invited to give a presentation. You're invited to do a reading. You're like, what the heck am I going to wear? That happened to one of my clients. And she was like, oh my God, she wrote this amazing book, but she had been in her leggings and a t-shirt phase. She called it her vacation clothes. She was in vacation mode because she all of a sudden, she had gotten comfortable. She had maybe put on some weight. Actually, she had put on some weight. And all of a sudden she was invited to speak somewhere and somebody else wanted her to show up. She was like, what now? What do I wear? I can't just wear leggings and a t-shirt. So she had to be intentional about it. She had to think about it. Sure, she could have just gone out and bought anything, right? But as an author, you want to be the fullest expression of your work. You want to wear something that connects the inside to the outside so that when people see you, they're like, of course you're an author. Of course that's who you are. I get that comment from so many women, so many people, not just women. I remember walking through, I was going into a floral store one day. I just come from a meeting. I was going to buy some supplies for Style Finder, and this man stopped me and he was like, what do you do? I don't know. I don't remember the whole conversation, but I remember the essence of it was he asked me what I did, and I told him I was a style coach. And he said, of course you are. Of course you're a style coach. And it just like there was something about how I showed up that piqued his interest, piqued his curiosity. And when I said that, it resonated. There's resonance between the inside and the outside. This is where the magic happens. And I say it's like alchemy. It's like alchemy, right? Because we become more of ourselves. And it's the essence of who we are. This is what I mean by embodiment. And this is what I mean by the new era of style. This era is not asking us to be cookie cutter. This era is asking us to be more ourselves, to give ourselves permission to be who we are, to step away from FOMO, from comparisonitis, from imposter syndrome, and focus inward on our own magic. And when we stop asking the question, how do I look? And start asking, how do I feel? This is one of the easiest ways to flip the script. How do I look? When we start asking that question, when we ask that question, typically we're asking our husband, our partner, our sister, our mother, or we grew up asking our mother. We grew up asking the sales girl. We grew up asking someone else. When we ask, how do I look? Typically, we're not asking ourselves. We're asking for an external validation. We're asking for someone else's opinion. And what happens when somebody says, I don't like that on you? What do we do? Take it off. I had this happen quite a few times in our boutique. And I remember one day I was dressing this client. I had two women came in, and one woman told me, she's like, I can't buy anything because I'm not at my ideal weight. Like, okay, that's fine. Her friend really wanted to shop, so she wanted to be helpful. She was trying to pick out things for her friend, which was fine. And then I intervened. I'm like, let me guide you, that's what I was there for. And she had asked for some help. So I got her in the fitting room. She put on her outfit. She came out, and she was wearing something that looked amazing on her. Amazing. Lit her up so good. She came out. What happened? Her friend crushed her groove. I don't like that color. And I just said, hold up, like, girl, let's just put a pin in it right now. But it was this moment of like, first of all, this as a style coach, like it was one of her best colors. So I asked the woman, I got curious. What do you not like about it? See how it lights her skin up? See what it does to her face? See how it makes her feel good? Like she clearly loves this color. And the woman just kind of paused for a second. She said, "Oh, I don't like that color for me." Like, well, that's a whole other ballgame, and nobody really asked you what you want to wear. Like, just this is where friends can sometimes be helpful, but the wrong friends can really get us off track. And when we are intentional about what we ask, if she had never asked her friend, she never would have known that her friend didn't like that color and didn't matter. It wasn't relevant to what was happening. If she had tuned in and said, "How do I feel?" But think about how many times you've asked somebody, how do I look?" And you loved what you had on, but your friend, partner, spouse, whoever didn't like it. What do? Your knee-jerk reaction is to go change. Well, let me try something else. Now you're becoming a people pleaser. Now you're trying to please them. Now your goal is to make them happy. It's not to find what's right for you. And so when you ask the question, "How do I feel?" You're stepping away from being a people pleaser and you're stepping into self-validation. You're stepping away from self-abandonment and you're stepping into honoring your truth, honoring your self-expression. And it changes your energy. It changes everything. You know, when you show up and you're wearing your shoulds, "Well, my husband told me I should wear this. My husband told me the dress I wanted to wear made me look fat." Right? Like, what kind of energy is that? So I put this thing on instead, and I don't love it. You know, it's just that should energy. It's that victim energy. It's not good. But when we can stop asking, somebody doesn't like it. Okay, didn't ask you. Didn't ask you. I'm asking me. Ask yourself. Don't invite uninvited opinions. And if somebody tells you something that you don't want to hear, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to do me. You do you, my friends. Because when you can really step into what your style is, regardless of what anybody else is going to say or think or do, you are giving yourself one of the best gifts. You're giving them you're giving yourself the opportunity to be who you are. And that is one of the biggest challenges we face in our world. People are afraid to be who they are. When we are invisible, essentially it's like saying, "I don't believe that I'm worthy of being seen." We're all worthy of being seen. Now I want to share with you 5 ways to let go of FOMO and comparisonitis and imposter syndrome. 5 easy ways. Number 1, be intentional about what you consume. And by consume, I mean social media, opinions, conversations. What are you exposed to? What are you exposing yourself to? When you can protect your mind and your mindset, like be very intentional. I have I have multiple Instagram accounts, and there's one that I've posted some things on it before, but I don't really use it. But that's where I go when I just want to like it's like the softer side of Instagram. Everything's pretty and it's mostly about food or home decor and sometimes I'm like I just need to go somewhere where I'm not going to be inundated with things that are going to trigger me or just so be very intentional. Be very intentional about what you listen to, who you listen to, whose opinion you ask. Just be intentional. Number 2, stop looking sideways. It's not a race. You are only competing with yourself. If somebody else is ahead of you, and I learned this a long time ago, and I have to remind myself of this, we're all running a different race. It might seem, and I've seen this evolve over the years for myself. I've really seen this come into play. But it can be so easy. If somebody you know, they're crushing it, maybe they're a best-selling author, or their Instagram is blowing up, or their Substack is blowing up. And it can be so easy to say, "Oh my God, well, she's only been on 3 months. I've been on like way longer." And we compare ourselves. And we get caught up in that. That's where, we're like, well, she's better than I am. All the stuff. And then, I don't know, a year later, she has a pivot and it's just, she goes in a different direction. Or something happens to you. Maybe you get an opportunity. And you're like, well, if I had focused on this, then this wouldn't have happened. We're all running a different race. And when we can stop looking at, who's leading, unless you're like an Olympic swimmer or an Olympic athlete and you're like literally running a race, stop looking sideways, put your blinders on and stay true to yourself. Number 3, dress for the woman you're becoming. Who are you stepping into? Dress for her, not for approval, not for trying to please somebody else. Plus, when we're trying to please somebody else, they have their version of you that they want you to stay the same as. And as we're elevating, we're pulling ourselves forward with our style. We're pulling ourselves into our new identity. If you dress for approval, you're going to stay small and stay stuck. Number 4, celebrate. Celebrate your wins. Track your wins. Celebrate your wins. Let's say you wore a great outfit today and you got 5 compliments. No, we're not doing this for compliments. Compliments are the icing on the cake. But the win could be, well, I wore what I really wanted to wear versus what I thought I should wear. That's a win. Or maybe you got a new client, or maybe you ate really healthy today, or maybe you did your whole exercise routine or your skincare, whatever it is. Whatever win is getting you towards your goal. Wrote 2 pages in my book. I got 2 new followers on Instagram. I posted 3 times on Instagram. I showed up and was visible. I did a live. What's the evidence? Track your wins. Celebrate your success. And number 5, practice daily visibility. Wear the earrings. Make sure you get the right back so yours don't fall off like mine do. Post the reel. Share the idea. Do the live. Write the article. Say the thing, because this is what the world is waiting for. And you have to start small. You don't just turn on your camera one day and all of a sudden you've got millions of followers and fans and people who love you. If you've never done it for 1 person or 5 people or 20 people, you have to start small. And this is where you get to practice and you get to build and you get to increase your confidence. And then all of a sudden, when you do have 1,000 followers or 1,000,000, however many, you're ready for it. If you had 1,000,000 right now, you'd freak out. You're not ready. We say we want something because it's FOMO, right? Because, oh, she's got 1,000,000 followers. Well, I don't have that. Okay, I'm not going live. Bad excuse. Do it dirty. Do it messy. Do it and grow and learn from it. Because the antidote to FOMO is presence. Showing up. Just showing up, my friends. The antidote to comparison is self-trust. When we can learn to trust ourselves, that we know our style, that we dress for who we are, that we have our own back, and that we believe in ourselves, that is worth gold. And the antidote to imposter syndrome, embodiment. Embodiment, becoming fully who we are. And the feeling of embodying ourselves at the fullest of our truth. Like, when you feel that, like, why did I ever want to try to be her or try to act like this or water myself down? It is one of the most empowering things that we can possibly do. This is why I start with style, because style is our identity made visible. And when you can look in the mirror and see yourself, like, that's the woman I am. That's the woman I'm stepping into. Whatever that looks like for you. And there are no shoulds. There are no rules. There are no shoulds. There's no anything that you should be doing. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And when women become more of themselves, this is one of the greatest gifts that we have, that we can give ourselves at midlife. Becoming more of ourselves, allowing ourselves to be seen, allowing ourselves to just become who we are. So I want to leave you with a few questions, 2 questions. The first, where in your life are you still seeking approval instead of self-expression? And what part of you are you finally ready to stop hiding? What's the one thing that you've told yourself, I can't tell anybody that or show anybody that? It's probably the part that's asking to be seen. So thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful that you've shown up. If this resonated with you, I would love it if you leave me a comment. Let me know what stood out. Let me know what you really connected with. And please reach out if I can help. If you'd like to know more about the Style Finder ID system, I am here for you. And share this with a friend. Because the more we can alleviate FOMO, imposter syndrome, comparisonitis for ourselves and our midlife sisters, the better the world will be. So I will see you next week. Mwah.